Look, if the Fed just drops its inflation target, the ground shakes under everything you've built. Forget the textbook calm. This is chaos wrapped in a nightmare for anyone who puts money to work. You feel it already, don't you? That gnawing frustration watching prices spike, yields twitch, markets wobble, and not knowing where the hell to put your chips. It's like the game's changing rules mid-round, and you're left scrambling while the system you trusted throws up its hands. Here's the brutal truth. If the Fed abandons that 2% inflation target, inflation loses its leash. It runs wild. That's not just numbers going up. It's your margins bleeding, your valuations tanking, your growth plans stalling. You fought so hard, blood, sweat, sleepless nights, to get your ventures or portfolios to that level of stability, and suddenly stability means nothing. Stability becomes a myth. Every dollar you plan to compound, suddenly worth less. Every contract, every forecast, every deal, it's a moving target in a storm. You might be yelling at the screen right now. Great, so what do I do when the biggest anchor of the market abandons ship? First, stop thinking you can sit this one out. The biggest mistake is pretending you can wait for someone else to fix it, or that it'll just blow over. It won't, not this time. Listen closely. The first move is to get ultra-liquid. Yes, being fully invested in safe bets or fixed income. That's a death sentence. You need cash or equivalents, real, no BS liquidity. You have to be ready to jump in, jump out on a dime. Because the moment inflation runs free, volatility explodes. If you're wrapped tight in long-term positions that can't flex, you're bleeding slow and steady. Next, attack sectors that profit from inflation chaos. Real assets, commodities, energy. Stop running from the obvious just because everyone else is too scared to touch them. Sure, the headlines scream doom, but that's exactly where the opportunity is hiding, begging for the ruthless and precise. Position capital where pricing power is real. Don't just chase growth that looks shiny on paper, but bleeds under inflation pressure. Focus on businesses and industries that can pass on costs instantly. That's the difference between survival and ruin. Now, you need to rethink leverage. Under normal conditions, cheap debt is your friend. But with floating inflation and interest rates flying off the charts, any debt that's not locked low is a punch to your gut. Stop pretending debt is free money. Speed up paying down margin calls, cut exposure to variable rates, and restructure deals aggressively. If your financial architecture isn't bulletproof for a volatile inflation environment, you're exposed, and that exposure is bleeding you dry. Another no-brainer. Rethink your currency exposure like your life depends on it. Because it probably does. Inflation runaway is almost always linked with currency turmoil. If you're tied to one fiat, you're missing half the playbook. You want to hold diversified currency assets, hard currencies, stable digital assets, whatever can hedge the loss of purchasing power. It's not about fancy financial engineering. It's survival instinct with capital behind it. Finally, if the Fed throws the playbook out the window, your mindset has to shift from playing defense to taking control. Meaning? You must double down on information edge. Stay aggressive on data, tracking inflation signals, policy moves, and market flows with obsessive precision. The first to spot shifts in real time holds the keys. This is not about following Wall Street chatter. It's about being on the front lines, reading the smoke before the fire shows. So, to sum it up, if the Fed bails on the inflation target, do this. Get liquid, own real assets that survive inflation spikes, cut variable debt fast, diversify currencies like a hawk, and sharpen your data edge until it hurts. No fluff, no delay. Your portfolio's future depends on ruthless discipline right here, right now. Waiting or hoping is giving your power away. This shit won't wait for you to be ready. It's coming whether you like it or not. The question is, will you stand there frozen, or will you grab the chaos by the throat and take control? The choice is yours. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and open the featured link to learn more.